Troy, tell us about Tech Buddies.
Okay, so I work for Age UK Oxfordshire, part of the Tech Buddy service, which is my main role. So what we aim to do is to get people up and running on their devices, phones, tablets, laptops, whatever they may have. Main aim is just getting confident using it, really. So we don't really want to be teaching someone stuff they don't want to know. It's just our ideal world, get them up and running on an email address, so I can contact anyone really, because most things need an email address these days. Maybe getting on Zoom, WhatsApp, maybe doing online shopping. So just picking people up to speed really. We do help people out that do want, if that's possible, more help, say because they want to do spreadsheets, if they want to do something more detailed like go on social media. So it doesn't just stop at the basics, if we just gauge each person as it comes. So the service is free all over Oxfordshire for anyone 50 or above. And we do offer information out to any age, but the home visits ideally are just for the elderly. 50 or above it will be. We do offer phone support as well, and we can help out over Zoom and send out help sheets. So we just kind of try and gauge each person as it comes really. So when the referrals come through, we'll assign them to the different staff members in the areas, depending on what area they are. So I'll probably cover people in the north area and the east, Bambi, Bicester, Kidlington, and sort of Tame area. Then we have different staff members covering different areas. So that's that really in a nutshell. We do have a bit of a waiting list because of the demand for it, especially after Christmas. We've got a lot of people, which usually happens, that get tablets, phones thrown at them from their family, and all of a sudden they haven't got the time to teach them. So obviously we offer sort of patient support from that, which is usually the thing which gets people's gets sort of family members to not teach each other. It's like, oh, he's not patient enough, you know, he doesn't want to do this to me, ain't got the time. So we just want to try and move older people and the older generation into the technology, because as we know, the pandemic that's happened, a lot of people struggle with isolation. So it's been good to try and get out to these people and to bring them up to speed so they can join in with these things that we're doing now on Zoom. And, you know, I'd never been on Zoom myself until lockdown hit, and all of a sudden now it's a thing, and I'm here doing this with David. So it's one of those things I think it's good to just know how to do, even if you don't want to do it, because you never know when you might need to do it, especially what's happened. We also have a contract going with the NHS as well. So we're helping people out with a tablet loan scheme. This is only for the NHS scheme, we don't just loan tablets out to anyone, to get them doing physio appointments that haven't got a device. So we're working closely with that at the minute, but that's still a part of the Tech Buddy scheme. And you got any other questions, David? 'Cause at the minute,
I suppose, let's say, if someone approaches you and wants some help, first step is, how do they get in touch?
Okay, so to get in touch with the service, we have a phone number, which is 075 841 48507. I'll just say that again quickly, just in case you didn't get it. It's 075 841 48507. Or we do have a Tech Buddy email address. So it would be techbuddy@ageUKOxfordshire.org.uk. I'll need to just double check that actually, because I don't usually give that one out because people tend to ring. So I'll confirm that with you at the end when I can manage to find one of my leaflets.
Oh, hang on.
Here. Oh no, there's one here. There's one here. There you go. I'm prepared.
Those are that the right ones?
That is the right one, yeah. Okay, I did get it right. All right, okay.
Yeah, that's the Tech Buddy page on Age UK.
Yep, obviously we have a website, as David just popped up for you. So you can go to that and find out a bit more of a brief overview, but it'll say very similar things to which I've just said anyway. So those are the two ways. We do have like a referral form, which also when they come through, if any profession wants it, we can send them a referral form. But if anyone usually does approach me, that's the easiest way, to just give me a call, and then I will have a chat with the person that's calling me and just go over some questions. Obviously, we still have to be COVID safe with the home visits, wearing a face mask, and obviously make sure that you're, tested negative and all those bits. I've had 3 jabs as well, so wear a face mask, and if freedom of choice, you don't have to wear one, but I have to because of the company policy. And I'll ask bits like, have got the internet, have you got a Wi-Fi connection at home, sorry, what data plan on your phone. So a lot of people forget or don't know what they're on. And this is a big stumbling block, I think, for some people. They're just like, oh, I don't know, or they're on pay-as-you-go, which I don't think pay-as-you-go is that good anymore. So I'll try and ask some kind of like techie questions as well. What make is your device? First of all, it's a laptop, tablet, or phone, one of those bits. So just get like a quick insight of what the person's got, and then ask questions of what their goals are. So everyone, as I mentioned earlier, has different goals. I get some people that say, I want to do email. Some people can say, oh, I just can't connect my printer. And it ranges from like different levels up and down, really. You could get some absolute beginner that says they've only just bought a phone, or they need help buying a phone, which is a case I had earlier, actually. I went round to a guy's house, done an NHS visit, and he wanted to get a new phone. He wasn't sure what to get. So I give advice to people, honest advice, because I'm not a salesman. So if someone's, forwarded a bad deal, I will say, that's not very good, probably get this one, which is better for them. Again, that matches up for what they want to do as well. So obviously, if they're only doing something very small on it, basics, I can just say, okay, get a simple smartphone and then get a SIM only plan. So again, everything's different, but it's all free, and it's advice usually from me. But like I said, we have help sheets and different members of staff. But our aim is to just basically get the best, say what's best and try and forward what's best for the person talking to us, not what's best for the person that's selling it, which is what usually happens when you go to a shop. And that's me. And have you got any other questions, David? Anything?
Right. So that's the beginning. They contact you, you speak to them on the phone, you get all these questions. So and I guess for some of them, you can answer everything on the phone. But if you end up going on a home visit, what's that like for the person?
Okay. So the home visit, so I've last year probably done over 100, which is the main reason why this service got created. So we was doing IT teaching before lockdown, but it was mainly at libraries and people would come in, but the teaching methods was the same, really. So I'll go in there first, just have a chat as a person as well. So it's not just all so robotic, go in there, tech buddy, see you later. And then I'll usually sort of ask if I can see the device first, because I tend to get a lot of them, and updates not been done. The text size maybe is too small, the brightness isn't great, and there's a very like basic sort of checklist I have in my head of what to go over first, and it's usually the proper basics. Sometimes I go on some people's homes and say, do you know how to turn it on? It can be as simple as that they've just left their phone on and they didn't have to turn it on and off properly. Again, with laptops, it's a bit different. Some people, I'll go around, they just, you just hold the button in. Well, you don't do that. So I tend to go over the proper basics first with them. And obviously, if after a while I can see that they don't need it, or, they said, I know that already, then you can just move up a level. So my first thing what I'd be doing was going over, making sure the device is running at a proper speed. Because if something is running slow, it's off-putting for them, and it is for me. And something's usually not right if it's running slow, whether the device's storage is full, or if I've not done updates, or if it's a really old model. It's a really old model, and sometimes it's nothing you can do about it. It's just a case that I need to upgrade. So that would be the first steps. And then after that, as I mentioned earlier, and then I'll probably go on to, if they're unsure of what they want to do, but they want to progress, and then email address will come next. Usually the phone, if you get a new device, I should say, it usually requires you to, or tries to prompt you to do an email address. But I always try and make sure I've got one. Passwords are a big issue. Always remember your passwords out or write them down somewhere safe, because sometimes I can go on someone's house once and they set up an email account or some kind of account, and then all of a sudden the next session they've forgot their password. So it's not always a case of I go around and do one home visit and then see you later. Sometimes I can go around to same person's house, 4 or 5 times. I've been around to one lady's house probably 10 times over lockdown, just because she needed a lot of help. She wasn't the most confident at using the device. So it's, again, each person you have to take as an individual, depending on what device I've got, depending on their skill level, their learning capacity. They might have impairments, so you have to deal with those as well. And the last steps, really, I always leave them my number and say, like, you can always call me back because sometimes with technology, you think you've done what you wanted to do, and all it takes is your mate to do something, or your friend, your family, and then you want to do it as well. And then sometimes you're like, not sure how to do it. As we know, apps and phones move very fast. There could be a new app that comes in, not sure how to use it. I can always come back round. I can help people out over Zoom as well. So as we're in the meeting now, obviously David shared the screen. That does work very well, but that person needs to be at that level already where they can do Zoom. Obviously that helps with travel. If people are unsure and a bit worried about COVID, and then obviously that's another option. Phone support is very hard at times because I can't see the device or whatever they're using. So I basically try and sit down on a computer and do what they're doing on their end. If it is a computer or if it's a phone, I try and replicate what I'm doing. I can get a picture of myself. But me having a visual of what's going on is the best way. But again, it's meeting the needs. The help sheets are good and bad, I think, at the same time. I'm not going to sound negative, but we can't write up help sheets for every device and what everyone's device looks like, because people have apps in different locations, people have icons in different locations. So it's only a very brief guide if you're a beginner and you just need some prompts of where to go. Yeah, so that's kind of how it ranges from start to finish, really. Obviously I have to log all of this on a spreadsheet, which is good as well, because then obviously I know what level people are at, and if another staff member does the home visit, they know what they've done and what they haven't done. So it's easier to teach people once you go in with notes and you don't have to wait around. Obviously more time teaching is better for the person. It's a smoother process in the home visit.
Mm-hmm. What's the most unusual question you've had from them?
Oh, I don't think I can say that on here, but okay, I use a PC one. I'm just trying to get past the one which I want to say, but I shouldn't be saying. Most unusual one. This is quite a safe one, actually. So I went round to an old lady's house, and this was probably during lockdown. Yeah, starting to start lockdown. And the stuff I don't know about phones as well. Now, I'm not a genius. A lot of the stuff I might learn off YouTube. There might be a case if I go on someone's house and I'll be like, sorry, man, I don't know. But I'll come back next week and I'll learn off YouTube, or if I go on Google and have a look. Because I can't keep up with technology myself. There might be something that sneaks in. All it takes is a grandkid to tell an older person, and they know something new, and then I'm probably not going to know it. But there's this one older lady, she's like, I want to go on POF. And I was sort of like, I have no idea what that is. And I was sort of like, what is it you need to tell me? And it was Plenty of Fish. It's like a dating site. And she was like 60. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just what this can throw at you. All of a sudden, you can easily be thrown at something which is new and you don't know what it is yourself. So I had to figure out what that was on the spot. I was like, I don't know. She knew what it was, but I had to have a quick look myself just to have a gauge how it all worked, really. So I've got a better one, but I can't say it here.
All right. And what would be an example of someone who went through all the levels with you, what they managed to do in the end, and what the difference it made to them?
So we have got a good news story in the Age UK Engage magazine. So it's probably just good to replicate that. So there's a couple of them. Actually, the best one I'd say is over lockdown. I can't use his name obviously for confidentiality, but he's in Oxford. His partner unfortunately passed away, and massive gap. But obviously with a gap comes more time for yourself usually. But he's always been into poetry, and I went around on a home visit, and he wasn't great on computers at all. He had a laptop and had a phone, but he just mentioned he's into poetry, and I just helped him get onto Zoom. He hadn't been on Zoom before. Now he's like a master of Zoom. I seem to see him once a month, but he's doing his own poetry now. So he's created his own YouTube channel. He's put about 10 poems on there so people can see him, and also he's sort of gained enough confidence, and he's actually doing live gigs as well, doing poetry now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the confidence that he done the YouTube first, so that gave him a step to go and attempt to do it in person. And not only has that gave him more confidence, he's even sort of going to the gym and doing bits there himself. So the Tech Buddy service there, that's probably my best good news story, because he actually still messages me now. It's almost like we've got kind of like got mates as well. So not only is it just learning stuff, literally, like, you know, you can sort of gain friends from him, not just friends from me. Obviously, he's gained like loads of friends when he goes out now and does what he does, which he obviously enjoys doing because he's doing it on YouTube and he's got a passion for it. So not only is the technology sort of got him skills, it's gained him social. And coming from you know, a guy that's been made single, that was married to probably over like 40 years from what I can remember, you know, it's massive for him, and you know, it gave him a good boost considering what's going on with COVID, and he obviously he's living alone now. So, and it's gained him like a, you know, a circle of friends and somewhere to go, because I think everyone, and a lot of my friends will vouch for this as well, you need your own hobbies, and you can get them through social media. You just need to avoid news, I think, negative news, and use it for the more positive things. And if you stick to what you've got a passion for, and there's always something or someone out there that's got the similar passion, whether it's an online group, whether it's, you know, a group you need to travel a bit further to meet, whether it could be someone that you know, well, that you didn't know lives around the corner that has got a passion for it. But I think the best thing is to use the internet for get the basics done, and then if you want to use it to improve your friends, family, your own personal health through your hobbies. I use YouTube a lot. So YouTube, as most of you might know, if you don't, it's just an online video site where you can learn pretty much anything. So you can always increase your skills on that. There was like online groups that Age UK did have. So obviously at the minute they're not really running. So you could go onto there and just search local groups, and then obviously increase your social life with it. You know, if it's a craft group, whether it's a gaming group, whether it's a, you know, a board game group. So use it for the good. I think that's my overall tip. Once you've got past the basics, what do I want to do on it, and then use it to enjoy, just enjoy it more. Really, don't people fear it a lot. That's one thing I found, David. Like, especially because of how media works. You know, you see a lot of bad stories, all scams and bits like that. But there's so many good things that can happen on technology that get bypassed because media seems to be stronger with negative stories. But you know, there's a lot of good things out there.
All right. And how's it been for you working in this job?
Oh, okay. It's an interesting one. Well, I've been doing this, working for Age UK for about over 10 years now. So I'm no stranger to what's the teaching IT. It's just how it's changed over time. So when I first started, there was kind of a lot of online learning tools which I used to get people going. But the more I taught people over and over, the more I learned myself, and the less I can get sort of, not going to say tricked, but sort of outwitted or foxed. You know, it's kind of like, it's in that, okay, do this. The patience is the main thing. There's only probably been 2 times when I've been like, oh, that's testing me, that is. I'm not going to tell anyone what it is, because then if I do teach someone, they'll start doing it. So I'm not going to say. It wasn't that bad. It was just something like, it's quite minor, but I was like, what are you doing that for? So it can test you at times. Yeah, it's been very good work helping people out. The paper side of it is a nightmare because I don't find it rewarding, but it needs to be done. But when you go out and do a home visit and make a difference to someone, like the guy in Oxford I just mentioned, and then, you know, it feels like it's definitely worth doing. Obviously, we did have classes before, so people come into the venues, but going to their homes seems for me, it seems more rewarding. Because, you know, they're kind of more comfortable in their own home. They can, you know, show you a few bits, and I don't know why. I just think it's just more rewarding than it is going to a neutral venue like a library or something and just meeting them there. I've done a lot of other stuff for Age UK as well, but at the minute, since the pandemic happened, my job role changed a lot. So I used to go to groups and do activities like bowling, cinema sessions, curling, bocce, sort of get people up and moving. But I'll still be teaching IT as well, just not as much. But now we start to get classes going back in Oxfordshire at libraries as well. Just a note, there isn't any in Oxford yet. We're looking to get some sorted out. All it will need is like a volunteer, and we'll probably match them up at a library, which is the easy venue because it's free, and they've got a good Wi-Fi connection. So yeah, a lot of changes for me in work and personal life, but we all struggled a bit through lockdown, and you just got to stay positive and try and get on with it, really.
Mhm. So, it got any final message for the people we're going to show this video to?
So final message from me would be like, just don't be afraid of trying to learn technology. It's not frightening at all. It's a lot more simple than you probably think it is. Now, you'll see a lot of people who walk in town, especially kids that are sat on their phones and they're pressing really fast. You don't have to match up to that level, but they're probably playing games which you're not going to play. They might have an earpiece in and they'll be talking to someone like I've got, and you're thinking, what are you doing? But I'd recommend at least having a smartphone and being able to do the basics on it, because then you've always got options of joining in with anything. So be flexible, be willing to learn new things, not just on the phone, and just try and enjoy it more. Now, push the negativity aside of scams and those bits, because that very rarely happens. It's your own awareness which you'll fall into that. I can talk more into that later on if you need me to, but like I said, the main thing is use it for your own enjoyment. Have it there with you, but use it for the good, and because they can do a lot of good things on it.
All right. Thanks very much, Troy.
No worries. It's been a
See you
pleasure.
later.
Might see some of you soon. Okay.